So over time, we reflect on our unique decisions, the way we identify and fit in this world, our choice in partners, our friends, our settlement in place, even our career choices. Today's guest did what she wanted to do. She got her business administration degree and she decided to detour to entrepreneurship. What the heck? But, Jadesha Hair is here and she believed she could, so she did. Welcome to the results or the excuses, Jadesha.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. It's definitely a privilege to have you here. You're young, you're driven, and it just seems like you got a passion for what you're doing. Jadesha is definitely one of the youngest. She is the youngest guest that we had here on the row. In fact, we had to get a permission slip signed by her parents for her to be on here today. No, I'm kidding. Okay. But anyway, so before we dig deep in, one of the admirations that I admire about Jadesha is I've got an opportunity to kind of see her grow. I've known her parents for probably, 15 years or so. Went to church together. And Dad and I, Mom and I, were all good friends. So Dad told me a story. And he just showed me the place where you are in life. So I guess you were moving into a new place. Mm-hmm. You moved into a new place. Okay. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And he told me that either he was helping you move or he was preparing for the journey to go visit your place with the expectation that he was going to have to assist in buying some furniture and decor and all that. And what Jadesha did is, Jadesha said, nah, Dad, I'm good. Who does that? You take from Dad, right?
Definitely.
But that just shows you where Jadesha is as far as in life, and that, from a maturity standpoint, she really wants to set her own path and become her own woman. But congratulations and kudos to your new place and also where you are in life. Yeah. So what's been going on?
Thank you. So like you said, I just bought a house. So about 2 weeks ago, I closed on my first house in Charlotte. So that's like the biggest thing that's going on right now. All thanks to my business, Misstoomadeit. So I'm Jadesha, the owner of Misstoomadeit. I am a Greek vendor for Greek sororities. So Alpha Kappa Alpha, Delta Sigma Theta, Sigma Gamma Rho, and Zeta Phi Beta. So I work with those 4 sororities and I sell paraphernalia for them.
Banging. That's good. And we're going to dig deep into that, about what Miss Two is all about in her business and so forth. One of the things that I do want to talk about, first of all, is the career safety nets. I don't know if going to school was a career safety net for you, or did you always want to be an entrepreneur and using school as a backup, or did you decide, hey, after school, this is exactly not for me, and share with what you went to school for and how did it all happen?
Yeah, honestly, it just happened. I had no idea that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, like at all. I went to school. Actually, I started off wanting to be a pharmacist. So when I was in high school, I was very passionate about chemistry. Like I loved chemistry. It was one of my favorite classes to go to.
Oh, you making my head hurt. For sure.
So I went to chemistry one day. This was like when it was time to start applying for schools. And I asked my teacher, I was like, what can I do with chemistry? Because I was like, I like it, but like, I don't want to sit in a lab all day. Like, I didn't really like that part of it. Right. I was like, what can I do more with it? And she's like, oh, you could be a pharmacist. And I was like, oh, really? That sounds good. They make a lot of money, not knowing much about pharmacy. Right. But I was like, yeah, that sounds good. So I like looked into it a little bit. So then on all my college applications, I was like, okay, I want to be like pre-pharm, chemistry, biology. Like, that's what I want to do. So I went to Winthrop with the intent of graduating with a degree in chemistry. Shout out to Winthrop. Love Winthrop. So I started off as a chemistry major there, and about halfway through my sophomore year, I was like, no, this is not for me. Don't want to do this at all.
Oh, wow.
So I went and spoke to a professor. I was like, what else can I do? Like, how can I change without like, delaying my graduation process or anything? Right. What are some other options? And they were like, business and healthcare is a good field to get into. And I was always interested in like business and stuff. And like, I like managing things and running things. So I was like, oh, I think this would be a good field for me. So I looked into it. And then the next semester I crossed over to business with a concentration in healthcare. And I loved it. I actually ended up graduating a semester early. So I finished school in 3.5 years versus 4 years.
Nice.
So that was very nice. So along the process of me being a business major and focusing on healthcare,
Right.
I joined Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the best sorority, if I do say so myself. So after joining that, I wanted to make custom items. So I was like, okay, I could do monograms or something, because I was always into personalizing items. That was my go-to. Like anything I had from my car, even to this day, I have a monogram sticker on my car, on my book bag, anything, even in my room here at my parents' house.
Oh, AK'd up.
Yes, I literally like personalize everything. So that's kind of what my business was starting on the basis of. It was starting on monogramming and personalizing items and just making custom shirts for friends, family, anybody of that nature. So then one of my sisters was like, can you make me an AKA shirt? And I was like, sure, why not? So I did it. And from there, everybody kept asking for paraphernalia. And I was like, okay, hold on. There's some legal. Yeah, I was like, there's some legal sides to this that I need to make sure I'm doing things right. So before I kept like growing and getting too big, I did my research with my sorority and I figured out what I needed to do. And then I got my license to be a vendor for AKA. And it just all sort of took off from there.
Wow. So I guess in all that you said here, one of the things that I want to know is, did you have any anxieties about entrepreneurship altogether? Because the way you're presenting it here is that, you made a decision and you went for it.
Yeah.
But most people have anxieties about going in this particular direction. I mean, you went to school for almost 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you got your degree. I mean, you have an opportunity to work in the healthcare field with good benefits, good 401k plan. You're young. I mean, why not go that route? I mean, tell me about the anxieties that you had or didn't have.
So I did, but to give you a little backstory. So when I was in school, I was actually working in my field. So I went to school at Winthrop, which is in Rock Hill. So I worked for Atrium, which is the healthcare facility of the Charlotte area. Okay. So I worked for them for about a year. So I got the position in undergrad because we had to complete an internship to graduate. So I did work, actually get experience in healthcare. So I was a patient service specialist. I was an assistant to an office manager, which is what I wanted to do, be an actual office manager of a healthcare facility of some sort. So I did get that experience. And then I also was a referral coordinator. So during my time at Atrium, I did like three different positions working for them. And then from there, that's when I ended up leaving and running my business full time. After I graduated school, so I graduated in December of 2020, I left that April to go full time and do misstoomadeit.
Wow.
It was not easy. No, not at all. I just knew that, well, for one, I was either go back to school and get my master's degree or focus on growing my business. And it got to a point where my business became so demanding. I kind of had no choice. It was like I was getting no sleep. Like I was working like 8 to 5, coming home, getting like an hour to eat, take a nap, whatever I wanted to do, and literally staying up to like 2 o'clock in the morning to get orders done and going back to work the next morning at 8 o'clock.
Wow.
So it just started weighing on me. And I kind of had it was either, let your business go or leave the job in healthcare. And I was like, my business isn't going. This is growing, like it's doing well. I was like, I'm going to take a chance. And it took a lot of encouragement from my circle. I had a lot of close friends that I was sharing with, and they were like, go for it. Go for it. I spoke to my parents about it, and they were like, yeah. And they were to the point, they're like, did you leave yet? Did you put in your notice yet? And I was like, no, not yet. I'm still debating on it. And then finally one day I just did it, and I only gave them a week's notice. I was like, I'm leaving Friday. This is it. And then I left.
Wow. So not much anxiety, but it sounds like, the business preparation part, school helped.
Oh, definitely.
It prepared. What would you say to, and I know everybody takes different paths and everybody kind of, entrepreneurship has no blueprint, right? But in your case, what would you say to the person that, wanted to skip over college, perhaps, because in your instance, college was helpful.
It's like the building foundation
to kind of find out who you are. I mean, what would you say to the person that just say, hey, after high school, I'm going straight into entrepreneurship. This is what I want to do. How important do you feel school was?
I would
Or
encourage
is for
them.
somebody.
Yeah, I would definitely encourage them to go to school if they have the means to do so. Even if they just do like a 2-year program at a school, whatever, I would definitely encourage them to go to school. Although I'm not working in my field directly, my degree is in business concentration, healthcare management. So I did gain a lot from the business side of it, and I'm applying a lot of that to what I do today. So I'm able to go back to those professors or go back to those lessons that I did learn in school and kind of apply it to the day-to-day work that I do. So I definitely would encourage you to go to school, just for the network, the connections. Even if you went to school for chemistry, for example, and then you end up owning a business like what I do, which has nothing to do with chemistry, it's still the people that you met, the experiences, the skills you gain, just all of that plays a huge role in my day-to-day work. So I give credit to Winthrop, my friends that I made there, my sorority sisters, my line sisters, all of that. I give credit to all the time. Winthrop, yeah, definitely.
Right.
So I would say go if you're able to.
Right. If it fits within the budget and you got the means to do, and there's a lot as far as school wise. I didn't work directly in my field, but school gave me so much from a responsibility standpoint and maturing and learning particular skills and people skills and so forth. So I definitely would encourage that. Miss Two made it. Who the heck is Miss Two?
So I'm Miss Two.
Okay.
It's a nickname that Derek and Janetta, which are my parents, I don't know, my mom just always called me it for years. Like growing up as a little girl, she always called me Miss Two. And then everyone just started calling me it. My family members. Yep. So MISSTOO, Miss Two, one word with a capital M and a capital T. I always put emphasis on that because people try and split it. But yeah, it just was a nickname. Don't ask me where it came from. They just always called me it and it stuck. So then when it came to opening the business, I was like coming up with all these different names. I was like, should I use my first name? Should it be like Crafts by J, Creations by J, something with Jadesha? And we were like, nothing was like standing out. It just didn't make sense. It was like, no, we're not going with that.
Now, I will admit the fact that trying to connect Miss Two Made It to a sorority brand or an apparel company behind you, it doesn't connect, but it stands out.
And also to give you some insight, I make a lot of the stuff that I sell. So all of my shirts, besides the accessories like the lanyards, the bracelets, line jackets, things of that nature, I order those wholesale. But all of my shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, I make them. I have an embroidery machine. I have a Cricut. I have a heat press. I order transfers from companies. So all of that stuff, I make it. So knowing that part of it, the made it part makes sense because I Miss Two and what you're wearing, I made it.
Okay. Now we're connecting the dots. We're connecting the dots. And it's important to get the story behind these particular names and so forth. But I love it. You know, it's different. It stands out. You know, it makes you click on Miss Two Made It. I don't know who Miss Two is, but I want to know the face behind that name. In the sorority of Alpha Kappa Alpha. So you're doing 4 vendors.
Yes.
Four sororities and so forth. Any hopes you're going to get over to the fraternities?
Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah, by the end of the year, hopefully. If not sooner, we're working on them. Licenses cost money. They are expensive. And it's not only do you pay for the license, you have to buy the inventory to come along with the license. Right. So yeah, I may get my license for Omega, but then I can't just have a license for Omega. I got to buy the shirts, the jackets.
I mean, we can get to the other ones. I mean, you got to have some with the brothers.
I do plan on it. That is the goal, is to do all of them, to expand to the fraternities as well. But I just, within the past 2 months, I just got the other 3. I was AKA for a year. This was my second year doing AKA. And then within the past 2 months, I got my license for the other 3 sororities. Okay. So I'm baby stepping it, but by the end of the year, the goal is to have all of them.
You baby stepping, you taking some leaps along the way, which is great. Define success for me. What does that mean to you and where you are as far as your business wise?
I mean, I see success already in you, but I know self-critic is just, you know, you're the hardest critic as far as on yourself. You know, what does that look like for you over the next couple of years? You, your business, you know, self-development and all that when you're talking to the viewers. I mean, where you going?
Yeah. So for me, every day that I'm in business, I haven't had to close my doors or anything. I've count that as success.
Sure.
Being so young, just to share, I am 23. So just being so young, a year and a few months out of college, and I left my job 4 months out of college. So I've been doing it for a year full time now. So that's honestly been like a huge success to me. Just the fact that I wake up every day day being my own boss, doing what I want to do when I want to do it, making my own schedule.
I'm jealous.
Just having the flexibility to, like, for yesterday, whenever Friday was, 2 days ago, I woke up, I was like, I don't want to work today. I was like, I'm going to relax, and then I'm going to get on the road, and I'm going to go to Charleston. And that's what I did. So I woke up, I relaxed, I got on the road, and I don't know, that was just very nice. And honestly, that just feels like success to me. But of course I have goals to come. So within the next few years, I do plan to open a store in the Charlotte area. Well, like more so Rock Hill, South Carolina.
So a brick and mortar.
Definitely. Yeah. Cause they don't have any in that area. They have like Greek stores in Charlotte, more so like the university area, but that's a good 30 minutes away from Rock Hill. And where I went to school at, the Greek life is heavy there between grad chapters and then undergrad. It's very heavy. So it's a need for it. So I do plan to open a store. So that would be a goal for sure. To expand my team, and just I have 2 workers that work for me now. So just to have a more consistent schedule with them, and just to get that done, and just truly like lean on my team and just grow a team to help me, because I can't do it all on my own. So that's definitely one of my goals. And I guess that's like the biggest thing, is between getting my licenses for the fraternities, opening the store, and then growing my team. So
you got a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
Good deal. So, it's different tools as far as with entrepreneurship, and everybody kind of has something that they lean towards. What would you say your best tool is? The one you keep sharpening, that you lean to as far as the success that you're having and you want to build off of?
I would say my support system. That would be the biggest one. So I'm always leaning on my support system, which includes my friends, most definitely my mom and my dad.
Okay.
And also my sorority as a whole. Like, just everyone from my sorority has just been so supportive. So just always leaning on them. Just make sure I'm giving back when I can, looking out when I can, because they do so much for me, and they help me when I'm going through hard times with my business, to grow my business. The reason I'm where I'm at today is because of my support system. So I definitely make sure that I take care of them, and I just lean on them because they're always here for me.
Support is a great example as far as a tool. Not everybody has it. But you mentioned something as far as when you're going through hard times, just real fast here. Give me an example. I'm getting a little personal, whatever it may be, but I've got all these, high recognitions and accolades that you're giving me type deal. But it's not always like that. No. There's some tough times that you have, and some things that you go through as a young entrepreneur, especially trying to figure it out. What does Jadesha go through from time to time?
Yeah, it varies. So on the day-to-day basis, I deal with difficult customers. So just having, someone to talk to, my mom most of the time, when handling that, or just not knowing how to go to the right way, I guess you could say, about responding to them. So that would be one. And then like on a larger scale of things like finances, with my business comes a lot of overhead, comes a lot of fees associated with it to maintain it. And sometimes it gets scary. It's like, oh, I wasn't expecting to have to pay thousands of dollars for this license or for this fee or whatever the case is. So yeah, it just depends. They can go from, dealing with a difficult customer to having to pay a large amount of money. And it's just like, it hits you hard. And then sometimes it's like, I want to, I want to quit. Like, this is a lot. I could just go work a regular 9 to 5 and not have no overhead or no fees and nothing. Just go to work, handle my business, go home and get a paycheck every 2 weeks. Right. Or I can choose to continue to be an entrepreneur and just push through. So.
And they say you hadn't really went through anything unless you got to that particular point to where you'd be like, let me do this. Let me just get a regular job type deal.
And then you still push through.
And you still push through and so forth. The utility of social media itself, I mean, it's huge, especially with the younger generation. How much do you rely on social media? Because, a lot of people rely on, word of mouth as well. I mean, talk to me about that, how important that is. And,
Very important. I would say I rely on social media like for 90% of my business. Like, and it started.
So everything.
Everything. I started off my business literally through Instagram. So Instagram was like the main thing for me. And then eventually, like, I kind of moved over to Facebook, or I connected to two. So now it's like I automatically post on Instagram. It travels over to Facebook.
Now they say Instagram is the younger people and Facebook is the older people.
And it is so true. It is so true.
I'm finally in agreement with that. Like, sometimes I enjoy being on Facebook more than Instagram. So
I would definitely say that, yeah. But social media is literally like I could make a post on Instagram about a sale, and the way I know it works is I'll get a ton of orders, and I know they all came from Instagram because I only made that post on Instagram. So that's kind of ways for me to test how well my social media is doing for me, and it works. The sale won't be on my website. Like you would have to have seen it on Instagram to go to my website to know to use the code for, the percentage off. It won't be no place on the website or anything. So social media definitely works.
Well, it's important to know where your business is coming from, for sure. The relevance of building relationship as an entrepreneur, obviously that's important to get to the next level.
Have you met anybody interesting or, maybe doing the same thing that you're doing? Because I know from time to time you go to some different places, to do vendors and just to be recognized for, your business, Miss Too. Yeah. Any interesting experiences, out there in the vineyards?
Well, yeah. So oftentimes when I do go to events or something, like I did a regional conference a couple weeks ago in Atlanta for AKA, and this was the largest event that I've ever vendor at. Oh, wow. And a lot of the girls came up to me and they're like, "You're Miss Too. I follow you on Instagram, da da da," and so forth. And that made me so happy. The fact that they recognized me, I was like, "Whoa!" But one experience, I guess, like on a smaller scale, I was at a mall in Charlotte with my mom, and this girl, she was working at the shoe store, and I walked in and I had my lanyard, so I assumed that's just how she knew I was an AKA. But no, she was just like, "Hey, Sarah," and I was like, "Hey," and then next thing you know, she was like, "You're Miss Too. Like I follow you on Instagram." Da da da. Wow. And I was like, "What?" Like I'm just in the mall shopping, and the fact that she like called me, she knew who I was and everything, and I'm like, okay, like. So it was, very nice. That was a very nice moment. Yeah.
Like, I'm Miss T double O. This is me right here. So do your friends or associates and anything, do they call you Miss Too now, or some of them?
Most of them do. Actually, a lot of times, they call me Miss Too more than anything. Like but especially when I was on campus, that became my name. Like my last 2 years of school, that instantly became my name. Everybody called me Miss Too, and a lot of people who didn't know who I was, they automatically knew me as Miss Too. So I have friends that'll talk about me, and they'll be like, "Yeah, me and Jadesha are going to do this, that, and the third," and somebody be like, "Who's Jadesha?" And then they'll say Miss Too, and they'll instantly know who I am. So it's gotten to the point where like that's that's like what they know me as. Yeah, it's Miss Too. Like, who is Jadesha?
So what was your sorority name? Was it Miss Too? I mean, okay. I didn't know if they went that particular far.
No, they didn't. But it should have been, because that's literally what I'm known as. Like everyone knows me as Miss Too.
So we may have talked about it a little bit and so forth, but dealing with the setbacks and so forth. And I know your mom, and I know your parents, your dad are good support systems for you, and all the time they may not be there, when you need, because you stay in another town right now.
Yeah, I'm in Charlotte.
In Charlotte. So, with what could you say of what you've learned to how to effectively deal with the setbacks, deal with the unexpected expenses, deal with the clients that, you're trying to keep happy, but you can't seem to be happy, fussing and sometimes cussing at you, or a package that just didn't get through on time just because of snail mail or whatever it may be. How are you dealing with, that by being the top person, because everything is going to come back and fall back on Miss Too right now?
So it's not easy. Every situation is different, but at the end of the day, like through it all, like I lean on my faith more than anything. Like I just pray. I just, some things are just completely out of my control. It is what it is. So of course, in the moment, being hit with different setbacks, whether it's financial, customers, packages, literally those are like the three biggest setbacks that I get on the on the regular. And I just have to pray. I talk to my mom, of course, like she's very helpful, just calming me down and getting me through the situation. But some things are really out of my control, and it's like, okay, I can sit here and I can be upset about it, or I can do, look into it, do what I got to do to get it done, and just make it through it. But yeah, definitely pray. And some things it's like out of my control. It's like, what can I do? So, I effectively communicate that with my customers. If, if a package or something is delayed, or when it comes to financial things, I just pray. I'm good. I do have a bookkeeper. So, she definitely helps keep me in track with things in terms of on the financial end of things. So.
Okay. Yeah, good deal. We talked about your parents and talked about your support system.
Yeah.
But the main person that's making it happen for you is your little brother.
Oh.
Tell me about Justin. He's an interesting, bright young man. I mean, I followed Justin, you know, obviously since he was,
A little
you know,
boy.
an infant
Yes.
and so forth. So he's unique within his own self. You know, what role is he playing with Miss Two, or just being a little brother altogether?
Yeah, surprisingly, my brother is 13, but he gives amazing advice. Like, I can talk to that little boy about anything. Like, and it's so surprising. Like, I could be, he'll just call me every now and then, or I'll call him, and he'll be like, how's things going with Miss Two? Like, what's going on? And I'll tell him, I'll just share a little snippet with him, and he'll just give me some advice, and I'm like, where did that come from? So he's definitely a good listener. He definitely gives good advice, and he's just one of my biggest supporters. Like, he's just always cheering me on, always checking in on me. He's just there, and it's shocking. We have a really good relationship, saying that we are 10 years apart, but it works out well. It does.
That's awesome.
Very supportive.
That's awesome. Last thing, I was talking to your dad and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just trying to get an update on you and, you know, your business and so forth.
He's only going to give me limited information. He always says that I need to talk to your general manager. Who's your general manager?
That would be my mom, Miss Janetta.
Oh, she done came first year of business and she has a general manager.
Yeah, she gave herself that title, but it works out well.
Whoa. So
did.
parents giving themselves the titles these days, you know, but rightfully so. I'm sure she earned that position.
Definitely.
You know, to be the general manager as far as that goes. Jadesha, it's been real good talking to you, and
we've learned a lot as far as experiences wise. Anything that you want to share that I'm missing about Jadesha, Miss Two, the business altogether? I mean, do you have any upcoming events going on or anything? I want to make sure that, you know, we don't miss anything.
So no upcoming events or anything at the moment. It's summertime, so this is like our slow time to just sort of like prepare for the rest of the year. So I am taking advantage of this time, you know, just to write everything out, figure out what else we want to accomplish, because the first 4 to 5 months of this year has been busy nonstop, and it's been great. Like, I've truly seen the growth of Misstoomadeit over the past 5 months, which has been amazing. So yeah, I guess so. Nothing coming up, but in general, what I want to share is anyone that wants to start a business, anyone that's thinking about starting a business or have any ideas, whatever it is, go for it. I always say, do your research, use your resources, reach out to people. One of my biggest mentors that I have in the field is a friend of my mom. He had been friends with her for a while, and he's actually one of your fraternity brothers. Okay. So yeah, he literally, my mom like had no idea what he did, to the capacity of what he did it to, and she reached out to him one day when I got into the field, and literally he's been my go-to person. So just like use those resources, people that you may never think could help you, that you may never understand what they do or whatever, but it may be of good benefit to you. So have those conversations, network, reach out to people, and that's what I would like to say.
That's it. And we have a recurring question. I figure we've already talked about a type deal, but I'm actually to dig deep one last time and talk about a particular time to where you had valid excuses to give up on your business, to walk away, to go back to the healthcare field, but you made a decision within this short career that I'm going to chart the path, I'm going to stay on course, and it yielded you good results. You know, so I'm actually to dig deep again, because, you know, one thing that we do here on the road, we want to provide good advice, good helpful thing. And people want to know that you're real. People want to know that, hey, you know, Jadesha Hair, you know, all the success she's had this far in her short span, that, you know, she went through this particular thing. She went, you know, what was the most hurtful thing that you had to go through maybe?
I would say actually more recently. So my business has been growing a lot. I've been reaching a lot of new people. Business has been expanding all around. Well, recently, one of the sororities, I won't say the name, but I got hit with a huge fine from that set, or they just had a very lengthy, we'll say, list of rules that I wasn't following correctly. And it was brought to my attention, but it was brought to my attention in a way where it was like, you aren't following these rules. You need to pay us this money, and that's that. that. And when I say it was a heavy find, it was a heavy find. It was not pretty. It was very, it was literally in the moment I was just like, and I was also going through the process of buying my house. And I was like, I have to put all this money down on a house, and then I have to pay this huge fine, and then I have to maintain my business and buy inventory, buy, you know, all this other stuff for it. And I really wanted to quit. I did. I was like, I could just go back to working a regular job, you know, and not have to deal with things of this nature, or, you know, having to make sure that I'm staying on top of 50,000 things at one time, because I am one person, and yes, I do have help, but only to a certain extent. So, you know, so that definitely, it was tough, and I wanted to quit. I really did. My mom, she definitely helped me. You know, I shared everything with her. She knew what was going on, and I was, you know, able to push through. Thank God, everything worked out. I was able to pay the fine. Obviously, I got my house. Business is still going really, really well, but it just seems as if sometimes when I get like at my highest with things, like with business of going well, that's when I'll get like hit and knocked down. And it's like, I could have let that tore me down. I could have let that defeated me, and I could have, you know, left the industry of what I do, but I said, no, I'm gonna push through. It's a learning lesson. I gained knowledge from it. Obviously, it will never happen again. And yeah. So
man, that's awesome. Yet she's still here. You know, she pushed through, and it yielded her positive results. The cost of being an entrepreneur. You know, Jadesha, you shared quite a bit of advice. Even the speed of how you talk, you know, you can tell she gets pretty passionate, you know, when she speaks of her business and, you know, her support system and all the good things, which is great. You know, an entrepreneur, a young person with a vision. Go follow her. Misstoomadeit website. You know, she's got 4 sororities hooked up right now. Follow her for your sorority. She custom makes a lot of the things that she does. And we just looking forward to what's to come. So thanks again for being on the road.
Well, thanks for having me.
And
I appreciate it.
Till next time.